Slipping and sliding through machinery and chaos made by the Nazis you were slaughtering by slitting throats, cutting legs off, and exploderizing. Yes, exploderizing. This sums up Wolfenstein 2 quite well. I sure hope you don't need a game to tell you that Nazis are bad, but this game definitely makes that point over and over and over. And there's a story mixed in with killing Nazis in grotesque ways, and honestly, I kinda liked it. Sure, there's some parts that made my eyes roll. Sure, there's some odd mixture of over-the-top and serious tones. Sure, there's a ton of dialogue that was a bit too on the nose, but well, I just enjoyed it, okay? I enjoyed the characters, the themes brought up throughout the game were exaggerated but done well enough, and there were some neat set pieces throughout. My favorite parts of the game, though, weren't the crazy Nazi-killing mayhem sections. I enjoyed BJ's backstory and the various points, both big and small, that Grace would bring up in conversation. I mean, I laughed out loud at her retort to BJ telling her she had some balls to do what she did. You just play the game or look up that scene. The gameplay was so weird to me. On one hand, it was tight, fast-paced, and the performance worked well on the Switch. On the other hand, the weaponry was mostly bland, except that nuclear bomb gun, that one was sweet, just and explode things. But outside of that, nothing truly stood out. Heck, even when I got a neat body enhancement, which was given closer to the end of the game, rather than towards the beginning or even the middle, it wasn't anything truly special. Now let me be clear here, the gameplay mechanics aren't bad, they just don't particularly stand out. But hey, all weapons kill Nazis, so there's that. I was severely disappointed with the soundtrack to the game. Again, it wasn't bad, but I just expected something on the same level as, say, Doom. I know that's asking a bit much, but that's what I expected. Wait, well, okay, there was one great song in the game, and it was a cover of We're Not Gonna Take It. You know what? I'm gonna go ahead and play it for the rest of the review. The game looks fine in docked mode. I mean, obviously the game is gonna look better on the more powerful consoles. But in handheld mode, I love my Switch. I play it all the time. The main draw for me is the access to home console quality gaming with the option of portability. So I was super stoked to play the game in handheld mode, but it just didn't look too great. I know that Panic Button was doing a crazy job in this port and implementing some really cool things to make it work, and the frame rate stayed solid, and it looked alright in most parts, I guess, but just not great. And there was one section in the game where it just ran like butt. The more open areas in New Orleans. Whew! The resolution got terrible in some areas, and the only performance dips I experienced in my entire playthrough happened in New Orleans. There's no online in the game, and honestly, I'm okay with that. The story is told well enough, and there is plenty to do. Collectibles in the form of gold, vinyl records, star cards, and other inconsequential items are scattered all over. Uber commanders, which are assassination missions, are found by collecting Enigma cards off the blood-spattered bodies of commanders recently torn apart by you, the player. There are side quests to do and various difficulty levels to play. These all range from decent to meh, but you'll definitely get your money's worth in content. There's one thing in this game that truly bummed me out: the motion controls. And even then, it wasn't really the motion controls. I was looking forward to using them, especially after the great job done in Doom on Switch. But I had a major problem. The problem started as soon as I started the game up. My controller didn't work. Pro controller, Joy-Cons attached to the system in portable mode, nothing worked at first. So I completely shut down my Switch and booted it back up, and controllers started working again. But, I couldn't recenter the motion controls. I pushed in the right joystick, the left joystick, and pushed all sorts of button combinations, and nothing worked. I tested this later in the game as well and tried turning off the Switch again and turning it back on. Nothing helped. So I could not recenter the motion controls. So I turned motion control aiming off and cried in the corner. Anyway, so let's do bullet points.